Welcome to Zoe Stories. My girlfriend's ex hated me, so she turned me into her twin. I never thought dating someone like Emma would come with so much baggage. When I first met her, she was magnetic, charming, bold, and intimidating in the most seductive way. She carried herself like she owned the world, and when she looked at me with those piercing green eyes and that sly half-smile, I felt like I mattered. I wasn't just some shy IT consultant anymore. I was her boyfriend. But this isn't a love story.
Not really.
My name is Jordan. I'm 27. I work for a tech firm that specializes in cybersecurity, which basically means I spend most of my time behind screens, patching up digital holes, and cleaning up other people's messes. I'm good at it. Quiet, efficient, invisible even. And that's always been my comfort zone. I was the guy no one really noticed at office parties, who wore the same hoodie 3 days in a row, and only shaved when the itch became unbearable. Emma was my opposite in every way. She was loud where I was quiet, wild where I was cautious. She worked in marketing for a high-end fashion brand, constantly surrounded by influencers, models, photographers. Her world was curated and glamorized and very, very public. Sometimes I wondered what she saw in me. We'd been dating for just over a year when everything started to shift. It was subtle at first, little comments she'd make when I wore something safe, or when I'd hesitate to go out to events with her. She'd tease me, call me her little introvert. But over time, those jokes carried more weight, more edge. You know, sometimes I think you'd be a better fit in my world if you let go a little, she said once, brushing my hair away from my face. Loosen up. Maybe even explore the other side of things. I laughed. Awkwardly. I didn't know what she meant. At least not then. The truth was I had a secret. Even before I met Emma, I'd been experimenting. Alone. Always alone. I didn't consider myself a crossdresser, not in any formal sense. It wasn't political. It wasn't a lifestyle. It was just a feeling.
A pull.
When I was alone, really alone, I'd sometimes slip into something different. A dress, maybe. Lip gloss. I had a small stash hidden at the back of my closet in a locked box, a few carefully chosen items that made me feel, in some unspoken way, more complete. More real. It wasn't sexual. It wasn't even necessarily feminine. It was just freedom. But I never told Emma. That part of me was sealed away, deep beneath layers of fear and shame. And then there was her ex.
Kara.
Yes, Kara, the ex-girlfriend Emma never really stopped talking about. Or maybe I should say the ex-girlfriend she never stopped comparing me to. It was always, Kara would have worn that, or Kara used to say the same thing. I tried to smile through it. I tried to be understanding. But it was like Kara still lived in our apartment, haunting every conversation, every argument, every vulnerable moment. What made it worse was that Kara wasn't just an ex. She was a twin, Emma's twin. Identical in appearance, but nothing alike in personality. Where Emma was high energy and chaotic, Kara was cool and calculating. I met her once. Briefly. She was visiting to drop off some things Emma had left at their old place. She looked at me like I was a cockroach under her heel, one she hadn't decided whether to crush yet. Emma had warned me, don't take it personally. Kara doesn't like any of my boyfriends. I wasn't sure I believed that. Since then, Kara had become this background presence in our lives. Sometimes I'd hear Emma on the phone with her in hushed tones, voices tense, sharp. Other times I'd see a cryptic text message pop up on Emma's phone that she'd quickly swipe away. I never asked. I didn't want to look jealous. I didn't want to seem controlling. But the truth was, I felt like a pawn in some twisted game I didn't understand. The real shift began the day Emma invited me to stay over for the weekend alone. She had to leave town for a last-minute work trip, she said. It was weird. Emma never left me alone in her space, especially for that long. But she was oddly insistent. Relax. Take a break from your boring little apartment, she teased. Use this weekend to explore. I want to see a new side of you when I get back. It was how she said it, loaded, almost daring. I should have known something was off. The apartment itself was like a different world. Sleek furniture, abstract art on the walls, full-length mirrors in almost every room. The closet, her closet, was a rainbow of silk, lace, and leather. Heels lined the bottom in perfect rows, and her vanity was covered in a glittering sea of makeup compacts and perfume bottles. I shouldn't have been tempted, but being in her world, surrounded by her scent and her things, I felt something stir in me. Something dangerous. Something familiar. I told myself I'd just look. Just one quick glance at a dress. Just one brush of fabric against my skin. That would be enough. I didn't know I was already playing into their hands. Because what I didn't know was that Emma had a plan. And Kara? She was watching. I didn't plan to try anything on. That was the lie I told myself as I stepped into Emma's bedroom. Her apartment had always overwhelmed me. It smelled like vanilla and danger, like a place where secrets lived between velvet cushions and dripping designer handbags. I stood in the doorway, heart thudding, staring at the open closet like it had whispered my name. Maybe it had. I walked in slowly, unsure what I was doing, only knowing I could not do it. It wasn't just about the clothes. It was about being seen in a way I never allowed myself to be. In this space, I could pretend the world didn't know who I was, and for once, maybe I could explore who I really might be. I touched one of Emma's dresses. A pale lavender silk number with thin straps and a low, daring back. It felt like liquid in my hands. I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. But I was already unbuttoning my shirt. I stripped slowly, awkwardly, folding each piece of my boring, beige self and stacking it on the bed like I might need it later, as if I could ever go back once I crossed this line. The dress slipped over my frame like it belonged. It clung in the right places, loose in the wrong ones. My chest felt exposed. My legs looked foreign beneath the hem. I glanced at the mirror and froze. I didn't look like Jordan. Not exactly. But I didn't look like a stranger either. I looked like something in between. My hands trembled as I reached for the vanity. Emma's makeup kits were neatly organized by product and brand. It felt wrong to touch them, but I couldn't stop. I started small, just a bit of lip gloss. But the sheen on my lips wasn't enough. Soon I was patting foundation across my cheeks, fumbling with the mascara wand, smudging eyeliner with shaking fingers. Each mistake made me more determined. Each fix made me bolder. It wasn't about looking like Emma. It was about finally feeling like me. I slipped my feet into a pair of nude heels. Modest, 3 inches, nothing wild, but the way it changed my posture sent a jolt through me. I stood taller, hips cocked, spine straight. My heart pounded as I took my first careful step. Then another. By the third, I was walking. Not well. Not gracefully. But walking nonetheless. That's when I heard it. A soft click. The unmistakable sound of a camera shutter. I spun around. My heart stopped. Nothing. Silence. I froze in place, scanning the apartment. No one. Just me and my reflection, now wide-eyed and terrified. I was just being paranoid, right? But then my phone buzzed. A message. From an unknown number. Looking good, princess. Women with bunny ears. I dropped the phone like it burned. Panic surged up my throat like bile. I ran to the windows, closed. Locked. The door? Still deadbolt. No sound. No sign of anyone outside. I picked up the phone with shaking hands and typed a reply. Who is this? No response. For a long moment, I stood there, heart hammering, sweat beading under my borrowed dress. Then another message came in. Told you he'd try it. Told you he couldn't resist. Attached was a photo of me, wearing the dress, heels, lip gloss, frozen mid-step like a deer in headlights. The angle, it was taken from inside the apartment, while I was alone. Except I wasn't. I ripped the dress off like it was on fire. Makeup streaked as I wiped at my face with shaking hands. My heart was screaming. I threw on my old clothes and bolted from the room, checking every corner, every closet, every vent. No one. No cameras. Unless they were hidden. Was this Emma's idea? Was this Kara? I knew the stories. Kara was a master manipulator. She once got an ex fired from his job for cheating by sending photos to his boss. She had friends in high places. She was cold, calculated, and she hated me. Emma always said Kara was protective. But this didn't feel like protection. It felt like a trap. Later that night, I sat on the couch, still shaken. I hadn't texted Emma. I didn't know how to explain what had happened without admitting what I'd done. I didn't know if she knew already. I stared at the TV, not watching. The weight of the dress still lingered on my skin, like a phantom touch. And despite the fear, despite the humiliation, a small part of me missed it. That terrifying, exhilarating freedom. What scared me more was how much I wanted to do it again. But I couldn't. Not now. Or so I thought. Emma texted me in the morning, cheerful and casual. How's my favorite introvert doing in my world of silk and secrets? Face blowing a kiss. It made my blood run cold. Was it just flirting or something more? I didn't answer right away. I made coffee, took a shower, tried to calm myself. But the walls of her apartment felt closer now, like they were watching me. I checked every surface for hidden cameras. Nothing. By noon, I got another message. This time with a video. No caption. Just me, walking in heels.
Dressed.
Painted. Vulnerable. Filmed from a high angle. From inside the ceiling vent above the bed. My stomach dropped. There was definitely a camera. And someone was watching. I sat frozen for what felt like an hour, the video still playing on a loop. My reflection, no, her reflection, stared back at me from the screen. The way I swayed in the heels, the lip gloss catching the light, the slight tremble in my posture. Whoever was watching hadn't just caught me in a moment of weakness, they had caught me in a moment of becoming. And they liked it. Another message came in, as if they were reading my thoughts. Why hide it? You were born to be her. Her. I swallowed hard. This wasn't random. This wasn't just about humiliation or blackmail. It was intentional, targeted,
Designed.
and worst of all, it was working. I couldn't go to Emma. Not yet. Not with so much uncertainty. If she was in on this, if she had shown Kara the truth, then it was already over. I'd be exposed.
Discarded.
Maybe even destroyed. But if she didn't know, what if I told her and she looked at me with horror? Or worse, pity? I was stuck. The next morning, a plain box was left outside the apartment door. No return address. Just my name, written in looping cursive I didn't recognize. Inside was a carefully folded outfit. Emma's style. But it wasn't one I'd seen in her closet. A floral crop top. High-waisted jeans. Strappy pink wedges. A matching lace bralette and panties. Subtle. Girly. Believable. At the bottom of the box sat a simple note. Wear it by 3 p.m. or the video goes live. The time on the microwave read 12:42. Underscore 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 underscore. I paced the apartment like a trapped animal, staring at the box like it might grow teeth. My fingers kept reaching for my phone, debating whether to call Emma. Tell her everything. Beg for help. But if she was involved, I'd be giving them more ammo. If she wasn't, how would she ever look at me the same way? I looked at the clothes again. That soft pink. That delicate cut. That knowing bralette. Whoever picked this out knew my size, my inseam, even my preferences. I felt my breath shorten. I didn't just fear this outfit. I wanted it. And that terrified me. By 1:15, I was standing in front of the mirror in the crop top, trying not to cry. My hands shook as I pulled on the jeans. The fit was perfect. Tight around the hips, snug at the waist, hugging me in ways that made me stand straighter. My chest ached with adrenaline, but when I looked at myself in the mirror, I didn't see a man in women's clothes. I saw a girl on the edge of an identity she hadn't chosen, but couldn't escape. And somewhere deep down didn't want to. I added a light layer of makeup. just enough to match the look. Lip gloss, some blush, a dash of mascara. I didn't know why I was trying so hard. Maybe because if they were going to film me again, I wanted to look right. It was almost 3. I paced. Waited.
Prayed.
No knock came. No text. No upload. Just silence. I let out a long breath, collapsing onto the bed in full outfit. My legs crossed instinctively. My shoulders relaxed. The fabric whispered against my skin like it belonged there. I didn't even notice when I fell asleep. I woke to the buzz of the doorbell. It was dark out. My heart slammed against my ribs as I scrambled to stand. My legs nearly gave out under the heels. The doorbell buzzed again. "Jordan," a voice called from outside. "You in there?"
Emma.
I panicked, looking around wildly. My outfit. The makeup. I couldn't answer the door like this, not yet. Not ever. I lunged into the bathroom, slamming the door behind me, grabbing makeup wipes with frantic hands. "Jordan." Her voice was closer now. She had a key. No time. I wiped fast, too fast. Smearing, not removing. Lip gloss still shining. Hair still styled. The front door clicked open. "Hey babe," she called out. "I just got back. Weird day. Kara said something totally messed up and cryptic earlier. Did you talk to her?" I froze. She was here. Inside. Footsteps approaching. I kicked off the heels, pulled off the crop top, grabbed a towel, and wrapped it around myself just as the bathroom door opened. Emma blinked. "Are you showering?" "Why, yeah," I croaked. "Just about to." She frowned. "Why's your face all pink?" Hot water." I lied. Her eyes narrowed slightly, then softened. She stepped forward and kissed my cheek. "You look stressed," she whispered. "You okay?" I nodded, barely holding it together. She didn't press, just smiled and said, "I missed you," before heading toward the kitchen. I sank against the wall, breathless. Too close. Way too close. Later that night, after Emma had gone to sleep curled up next to me, her soft breaths warm against my shoulder, I checked my phone. One message. "You looked stunning today. Almost like a real twin. Just a few tweaks to go. Don't worry. I'll help." My hands went numb. Attached was another photo. This time of Emma from the same angle. Same vent. Same camera. But this wasn't about blackmail anymore. This was about replacement. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face, Kara's, smirking from the shadows of my mind. She was pulling the strings. Slowly. Carefully. Cruelly. She wasn't just punishing me for stealing Emma. She was erasing me. The photo of Emma taken from the vent haunted me. If she had access to Emma's room, her life, this went far deeper than jealousy. It was an obsession. And I was caught in the crossfire. Or worse, the next morning, the routine felt mechanical.
Coffee. Shower.
Act normal. Try not to shake. Emma noticed. "You okay?" she asked, brushing a hand over my cheek. "You're distant." I lied as usual. "Just tired. Work stress." She kissed me on the forehead. "You're a terrible liar." But she didn't press. And that made it worse. I stayed home while Emma went to work. I told her I had a headache. She left reluctantly, offering to bring soup later. The moment she was gone, I began searching. The vents, the outlets, the smoke detector, any place a camera could be hidden. My hands were sweating. My heart beat like a hammer. Every time I thought I found something, it turned out to be nothing. Until I reached under the bed. A tiny black box. No bigger than a lipstick tube. I yanked it out and stared at it. A camera. My blood turned to ice. I smashed it against the nightstand. Hard. Again. Again. The pieces cracked and splintered, but I didn't stop until I was panting dizzy. A text buzzed in. Temper. Good girls don't get angry. Attached, a live photo of me in the act of smashing the camera. From another angle, I fell to my knees. She had more. Many more. And she was watching always. At 3 p.m. sharp, another box arrived. This one larger. Heavier. And with it a note. handwritten in curvy, familiar letters. You're not quite there yet, but I can help. Let's see how far you've come. Try this on. You know where the camera is. Inside was a sleek red bodycon dress, a long black wig with soft waves, red stilettos, and a makeup palette curated for Emma's tones. My tones now, too. I should have thrown it all away. I should have called the police. Told Emma everything. But I didn't. Because underneath the fear, there was a voice whispering, "Maybe you want this." My hands moved on their own. Painting. Blending. Contouring. I slipped into the dress. The zipper purred at my back like a secret being sealed. I stepped into the stilettos. They were like weapons I didn't know how to wield. The wig was the final touch. Heavy, silky, transforming. When I looked in the mirror, I gasped. She was there. Kara?
No. Me.
My reflection didn't look like Jordan. She looked like Emma's twin. Almost perfect. Almost her. Suddenly, the apartment door opened. I didn't have time to run. Emma stood in the doorway, frozen, shopping bag in one hand, mouth slightly parted. She dropped the bag. The oranges rolled across the floor. We stared at each other. The silence screamed. I opened my mouth. She beat me to it. Is this some kind of joke? Her voice was shaking. Jordan, what the hell? My lips trembled. Emma, wait, I didn't. You're wearing my lipstick. That's my dress. No, it was sent. Someone's been blackmailing me, watching us. You're lying. She turned to storm out, but I ran after her, heels wobbling, heart crashing into my ribs. I'm not lying. Kara did this. She froze, then turned back, eyes burning. Kara? Yes, I gasped. She's been watching us. She put cameras in the vents. She sent me clothes. She's trying to, I don't know, replace you? Replace me? Emma blinked, and then laughed. Sharp. Cold. Oh my God, she whispered. You really don't get it. What? She didn't send you anything. My heart skipped. What are you talking about? Emma stepped forward, voice quiet now. She left that box months ago. It was in the hallway, addressed to me. You took it. I backed away. No, I didn't know. You opened it. You wore it. You lied. Every day. You chose this. No, I didn't. She's been sending messages. She stepped even closer, and for the first time, I saw something strange in her eyes. Not anger. Satisfaction. You think Kara was doing this alone? She said quietly. My blood turned to ice. What? I knew what you were from the beginning, Jordan. You tried to hide it, but I could see it. You didn't love me. You loved what I represented. I stumbled back, shaking. You planned this. Not planned. Encouraged.
Nudged.
Supported. You let her blackmail me. She wasn't blackmailing you, Emma said calmly. She was testing you. My knees buckled. Testing. Emma walked over to the mirror, looked me up and down, then smiled. You're almost there. You just need the final push. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But my body was rooted to the floor.
Why?
I whispered. Because I don't need a boyfriend who lies, she said softly. I need a sister who tells the truth. Before I could react, Kara walked in. She didn't knock. She just entered, like she belonged, wearing Emma's jacket, her smirk, her lipstick. She walked right up to me, circling like a shark. And then she held up a phone. On the screen was me, in full makeup, posing. Kiss her, Kara whispered to Emma. Emma didn't hesitate. Her lips brushed mine, soft, gentle, and full of power. I gasped. They smiled. In that moment, I wasn't Jordan anymore. I was someone else. The door closed behind me with a soft click. Kara's apartment was dimly lit, glowing with candles. Red dresses hung on racks like trophies. Wigs sat on mannequin heads, all identical. To Emma.
To me.
You're not here as a prisoner, Kara said, guiding me gently to a chair. You're here to finish what you started. She handed me a necklace. A delicate silver chain with a single word etched into the charm.
Jade.
What is this? Your name.
No.
My name is. Was. She touched my cheek. You're not him anymore. You haven't been for weeks. I wanted to protest. To fight. But when I looked in the mirror, Jade stared back. Not angry. Not afraid. But ready. I didn't remember falling asleep. But when I opened my eyes, I wasn't on the chair anymore. I was in a bed, soft sheets, lavender-scented pillows, a pink silk robe tied neatly around my waist. For a moment, I thought I was dreaming, until I saw my reflection. My nails were painted soft rose, my brows shaped with precision, my lashes long and fluttery. I looked exactly like Emma. No, not like Emma. I looked like someone created to replace her. There was a tablet resting on the nightstand, a video playing on loop. It was me walking, talking, brushing my hair, practicing Emma's smile, her laugh. Voiceover. Lesson 4. Posture and presence. Confidence is the foundation of femininity. Kara's voice. The screen went dark, then flickered to a live feed. It showed Emma, at work, typing away, looking normal, like none of this was happening, like I didn't exist, until she looked directly into the camera, directly at me,
And smiled.
I bolted out of bed, ran barefoot through the hallway. I didn't know where I was. Kara's apartment looked different now, sterile, pristine, with soft pink lights and endless mirrors. Emma, I screamed. But it wasn't Emma who appeared. It was Kara, holding a folder.
Thick.
Marked with my name. No, not my name.
Jade.
What is this? I asked, breathless. Your life, she said calmly. Your new one. She handed me the folder.
Inside. A new ID card.
Bank statements. A resume. A medical file. Hormone prescriptions. Everything legal. Everything real. And all of it under the name. Jade Monroe. I never signed this.
I gasped.
Emma stepped into view. Yes, you did, she said softly. The day you chose the red dress. That wasn't a choice, I whispered. Emma tilted her head. Wasn't it? I backed away. You manipulated me. You broke me. No, Kara said, voice like ice. We revealed you. Emma nodded. We saw what you really wanted, even before you did. I want to go back, I said, trembling. Please, I want to be Jordan again. Emma leaned close. Her breath tickled my cheek. There is no Jordan. They led me to a door. I didn't resist. I stepped through. On the other side was a room, bright, white, empty, except for one thing, a mirror, full length. I walked to it, slowly, terrified, and there she was.
Jade.
Elegant, fragile,
Trapped.
My fingers touched the glass. A voice echoed behind me, Kara's. You can leave if you want. We won't stop you. But know this, if you leave now, you'll go back to being no one. A man in a mask.
Hiding.
Pretending. I swallowed hard. Emma's voice joined hers. Or you can stay. And become the woman you were always meant to be. No more secrets. No more fear. Just freedom. I turned. Is that what this was all about? I asked. Turning me into her twin? Emma smiled.
No.
This was about giving you a choice. And if I walk away? Kara handed me a key. Then you walk. Doors open. I stared at it. Everything I was, Jordan, was behind that key. But everything I had become, Jade, stood in this room.
Torn.
Shaking. I reached out, fingers trembling, about to take the key. Then I paused, and the screen went black.